Hey everybody, guess I should take off my sweatshirt and stay a while. Good morning, how's it going? How's it going? How's it going? We got some interesting moves in the market already today. Michael Saylor out there beating the drum for his company and, you know, kind of getting some attention, I guess. Getting some attention. And might I remind you, the Black Friday sale. This will turn into a Cyber Monday sale. So if you're late on this thing, popping up right here. I mean, this literally, I popped this open and boom. So explore the offers. Yeah, this is the one I use right over here. Best value right there. You can see extend. My current plan has 90 days left. Oh, wait. There we go. Yeah, 90 days left. And I'm actually logged in. You can actually see. There you go. And 217 for 13 months. Not a bad shake right there, if you ask me. And you can buy multiples of these if you want to. You can take it right off of your taxes as an expense for what you're doing. If you expense stuff. So there you go. There you go. That's the one I use. What are the benefits? That's a whole different thing, whole different ball of wax, and not even on this page. I have a breakdown in Discord. It may not be currently accurate, but it's in the FAQs. FAQs. Right over here. And what trading view plan do I need? So you can look at basic, pro, pro plus, premium. That's the way it used to be. It looks like they've maybe simplified a little bit to essential, plus, and premium. I guess basic, so essential, plus, and premium. How many indicators? How many alerts? This is the big thing to me. How long do your alerts last? Alert duration, infinity, infinity and beyond. And you can get some seconds-based alerts and all sorts of fun stuff. Watch lists, infinity. Infinite. So really depends on what you want to do there. So I highly suggest taking it up on this offer. They had it for Easter, they had it for 4th of July, and now they have it for Black Friday. They'll have it for Cyber Monday, so you got a couple days. But if you're serious about doing this thing we do, I highly recommend you jump on this because, I mean, it's just so nice. TradingView is actually super nice when you use all the features. I mean, I don't even use all the features. I probably use like 10% of the features, but anyway, I don't know why I'm on this list. Let's go back to the morning list. S&P and cool. Don't want that either. Pop up. This computer like had rebooted. I just logged it in. It's popping everything up. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. If you desire personal financial advice, please hire, consult a financial advisor. That means I may never get one of my epic predictions right again. I may be wrong. I may always be wrong. And don't do what I do. All right. Anybody remember this picture from Friday? Anybody? So I'm saying don't buy stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them. And here we go. Anybody know what happened in 1913? Why this is important? Anybody? What happened in 1913? One, the federal government introduced income tax. Two, the Fed was created, or maybe it's the IRS was created. And look at that purchasing power erode. Now, what's interesting, that the title of the whole show is, does the Fed fight inflation or create inflation? Well, check this out. we were backed by gold from 1800, just shortly after the country was a thing. Humming along, humming along. Federal Reserve was founded in 1913. FDR takes the U.S. off of the gold standard in 1933. Yeah, look at that. The junk we got right there. After the Fed was created, they started tinkering. Take it off of the... Yeah, we hummed along a little bit longer, and then Nixon ends the international convertibility of gold, dollars to gold in 1971. And wow, that's CPI right there. So U.S. consumer prices were mostly stable for over a century until the Federal Reserve was founded and the dollar was no longer backed by gold, which led to... It's hard to argue that's not been an inflationary explosion over here. So... And the Fed's not the government, though. The Fed is an independent manager of the currency, not part of the government. That's the misconception a lot of people have. So, you tell me. You tell me. That looks pretty damaging right there. That's 3,000% inflation, cumulative. 3,015%. I'll tell you, U.S. dollars lost nearly 97% of its purchasing power since the Federal Reserve was founded in 1913. Blows your mind, doesn't it? Blows your mind. Mind-boggling. And I got another quote I was trying to find really quickly. Yeah, income tax, 1913 also. Income tax. So, and if we could just get away from all that, seems like things might be better for everybody. Just leave us the fudge alone, right? Leave us the fudge alone. Anyway, I digress. Gotta have that money to fight wars, right? I don't know. Anyway, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. This is Thanksgiving week, everybody. If you didn't know, cool, nice big fat ad. Don't care about ads. Go back to the top. We have somewhat abbreviated trading schedule this week. Let me pull this up. Here, NYC. Reject all. I don't want your cookies. I'm not a cookie monster. Anyway, we're coming up right here. Thanksgiving, Thursday the 28th, but we have star, and we'll have a early close on Friday, then 29th, right there. So, early close at 1 o'clock, which the futures don't really, I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing because futures will reopen at 6 p.m. on Thursday. They'll stay up until 1 p.m. on Friday. And it's just going to be it's always a weird thing to have a closed day during the week. Always weird. Calendar's kind of benign here on Monday. Benign Tuesday. We do get some stuff coming out after the markets open here. Consumer confidence. There. Then we get the FOMC meeting minutes. Right there. I bumped that up. That was coming out on Wednesday. About interesting. They were going to throw that out on Wednesday. Huh. Well, Wednesday now we get preliminary GDP. All that big chunk of stuff. All that stuff on Wednesday. Even pending home sales. And then we'll shut it down at the end of Wednesday. Thursday, all day holiday. Thanksgiving. Be thankful for all the things we have. And then Friday will be a half day. I'll be live every day but Thursday. I'm going to take the day off Thursday. So, as Kimberly says, I'm going to watch the parade. And there you go. It's just, government spending is inflation. Like, there's no, you should never count it towards GDP. So, just should never count it towards GDP. I sit here and I'm just like, the mistakes of people we've trusted in the past, just totally unintended consequences. I'd almost guarantee you that nobody that was involved in creating the Fed thought this was the result over here. But there you go. And the funny bit of this though is that the funny, not funny haha, but funny, like, peculiar kind of, if you kind of think about it, the only reason we have so many millionaires is because this popped right here. Wealth was incredibly concentrated and it was incredibly difficult for, money was tight. But of course, you had $1 and you could actually buy a crap ton of stuff. So having $1 million was, our billionaires and trillionaires are now what used to be millionaires back here. Think about it, 3,000% divided by 3,000, or 30, I guess, divided by 30. And that's where the buying power used to be. But, they say the increase in the money supply is what allows everybody to have money. And that's why the U.S. is somewhat of a more wealthy per individual country than many of the other countries out there. It gets really weird when you dive into the macroeconomic kind of view of monetary policy, and how it helps the people have more money. But then the flip side of that is zero always stays zero. Like you're born with zero, and zero is always zero. So getting from zero to the top but always becomes more difficult the higher the top is. It's, really, really messes with your mind a little bit. At least it does for me when I start thinking about it. Just noticed the haircut, dude. That was last week. It's growing back. Anyway. Dun, 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 dun. So S&P speculated we may see a pop up here. Could even extend it all the way up here. I saw somebody posting, I think it was Harnett, very widely followed market analyst, Harnett posting that if we don't hit 6,600, it'll kind of be a disappointment. It'll be a surprise if the market doesn't hit 6,600. I'm not sure we're going to do it. Like, if the more people that talk about it, it kind of talks it out of existence. The more people that expect it. There's the market open. Rallying on. Yes, breaking out of that funk, finally. I was on the fence about whether this could get continuation. Now we're starting to break above those levels. We have this one right here still left to go. There we go. Man, look at all the alerts firing off. So there we go. It was looking kind of bearish, but hey, never bet against it when the bigger pattern is bullish and we left targets undone at the upside. Thank you. Looking up here, we have this bigger target right up here on NQ. Maybe lower. What's the bigger target? Just zoom back out here. Cool. That's not what I want to do. Cool. That's not what I want to do. Dadgum alerts. Come on. The downside of having the pro plan and all the alerts. There's the target right there. 21.4. Still the same. On NQ. Why NQ and not NDX? Because NDX already hit the target. And NASDAQ futures has not. We came up just shy. I do, 21.8 is the real target. This is the conservative. Kind of, we touched the zone target. And then we may go cruising on up to 23 up here. NDX can easily expand it on up to the 21.5 and 22.6 up here. Russell, man, look at that rip. Wow. That's nice to see. We may set a new all-time high. Kind of change the fortunes. Now, this can still maintain a bearish stance, very similar to snow, even by making an all-time new high. We could go cruising all the way up here to 26.71 and still maintain the bearish stance to go down here to like 13 to 1500. Still in the cards. Maybe a little bit taller on the, or maybe 1350 to 1600 if we get all the way up that high. It's entirely possible. This is still corrective and overlapping. It's not bullish price action. Setting us up for a big fall. Oil was getting some beating. Still expecting that to just churn sideways for the foreseeable future. There's the resistance. There's the supports. We break out either one of those. Just kind of set the direction potentially. Of course, it could be a fake out. Like we go whoop. Or it could be fake out the other way. We break out the top and drop. I saw something interesting that over the weekend that because the extreme levels of electric cars in China, their oil demand is plummeting. They're pumping out electric cars like crazy. In fact, they have just tons and tons of unsold electric cars. One reason I want to push them over here. And oil demand maybe permanently getting hit here. Maybe permanent. It's interesting. GC. Ooh. You're in Gold Rush. I hope you got out. That trade's over. I booked my profit early. Looks like we're going to take that whole move back and maybe get a 618 retrace off that pop, that high. There. Now the, like where we turned down at that 618. It's entirely possible. So if we don't hold this zone right here on gold, we may be in for a bigger, deeper downside right to there. Watch out for that. Silver was showing weakness. We weren't getting up to that 618. That one may come on down to this zone right here. Right in there. Bitcoin struggling to break through. All-time history. Oh. Teasing everybody. Now this is going really fast, and like I kind of said last week, if we go up really fast, it's going to be over really fast. It's not. We're not just going to keep going. So I kind of would like to see us kind of ease up on the speed with which we are climbing. Take it easy a little bit and pace ourselves. So if we just keep doing these rips and we get right up to the targets, the game's going to be over pretty quickly. You know, my basic target zone is in this 150 to 170 area right here. Conservative target down at 150. The target up here at 172 to 175. And then the aggressive target, if we really got sparky, up here around 300. All that can lead back to a crypto winner back in this area between 40 and 100. Why, might you ask? You know, as soon as when we make the top, we're going to start back down on a crypto winner. All right. 70% is usually 77% is typically what we pull back during crypto winter. So look right there where that puts us. 300,000 puts us back at 68,000. If we were to top further down, like there, %, puts us around 40,000. Be careful. We're going to have a crypto winter. It's going to come back down. Somebody's like, oh, this time's different. We keep hearing that this time's different, but nothing's different on these cycles. Nothing's different. Until the market proves it's different, it's not different. All right. Ethereum, working on a little catch-up action. And Bitcoin's negative 2% over the weekend on futures. And Ethereum's up 5%, almost 6% over the weekend on futures. If we can break on out, get above that 618 level, I'd love to see it. Like, we can get above this orange zone right here. We're right near the top of it. We finally, hopefully, start working toward these upper targets up here. Redraw my fib to the current. Got this zone up here around 6,000, maybe up even at 7,000. Watch out for the 5,400 resistance. Dollar. Taking a little whacking. Maybe that's what, for those of you who believe the correlation of the market and the dollar. Dollar pulling back, market ramping. There you go. That spike, that could be a spike reversal. We'll have to wait for the next moves to see if this is just a couple-day consolidation like we've had here and here. Maybe even a one-day consolidation like here before we rip higher again. NKD, turning the bottom potentially, but not showing much enthusiasm for doing anything. So global liquidity in this aspect, not really showing much of any signs of doing anything right there. So MSTR was popping. Now I go to the market. In the pre-market, I pull everything moving $2 or more up, put it on the gainers list, $2 or more down, and put it on the decliners list, and I don't change these before I go live. So MSTR was up from the close. Now we're pulling it back as the reality of Bitcoin settling in that we're not pushing through 100,000 right now. Now that can change in a flip of a hat. And if you haven't seen any of the stuff that Michael Saylor has been putting out, he was on Squawk Box over the weekend talking about what he's doing, how he's doing it, how he's getting 2x leverage and more sometimes on Bitcoin, and how even if the price goes down, he just returns people's money to him because he's making money regardless. So there's not a leveraged liability as far as he's concerned. Now, he said, in the unlikely event that Bitcoin goes to zero, there's a problem, but he doesn't see that as likely. And he has a lofty $13 million target on Bitcoin out to 2045, which it could work. I was expecting 1 million into the 2030s, maybe mid to late 2030s. So I'm not sure if 13 million may be a little aggressive to get up there. That, as I was talking about the Bitcoin halving cycle, will probably go back down to the 40 after we're done with this pop. we'll probably go back down to that $40,000 to $100,000 area. Come back to this area that we're in now. Then we'll probably, if we got down to 40, we'll probably next cycle go up to 400 to a half million, somewhere in there. Pull back again, probably back down to around 100,000, 120,000. Then we'll go up to about a million potentially on the next cycle. Maybe a little shy, maybe only like 800,000. So we're talking about 2028 cycle, getting to like 500,000. 2032 cycle, maybe getting up to the high six figures. 2032, 2036 cycle, maybe the low 1 millions. So 2040 cycle, we may be able to push it up into the, $2 million, $3 million range. 13 million, that's kind of a stretch by 2045, unless something crazier happens. But hey, never know. MSTU getting hit with MSTR, Humana. Wow. Coming up to the resistance. Bounced. Drew that big arrow, and that's where we're coming, right up to the roadmap line. Watch for that resistance. Watch for another turn down. We turned it down once. Turned it down over here. This has been on a downtrend. Don't think that this is all of a sudden the bottom. MSTX getting hit with MSTR. Now, the party could be over. Like that, it's entirely possible. This was the bubble pattern, and it ran its course, and we're gonna flush it all the way back down. Entirely possible. Got to be able to stay solvent. Support your plan. I'm not sure we're done, but when you do look over here, back here, this went exponential right after 2021. Here's where Bitcoin peaked. So that was peak hype, and that was peak Bitcoin. And then so are we getting the peak hype? Or can we extend it on up to the 1,000 area? Just be careful. MSTR can take his ball and go home. Just be careful. Don't over allocate. ASML continuing to hunt for the bottom here in the support zone. MDB. This one might be kicking it off here. Like an aggressive buy could be now. More conservative once we break above the resistance here. But it's already looking like it might be on the way. Big lofty upside targets. 850 to 1200 area. Right up in there. It's got the pattern to do it. Even if you're skeptical. UNH may come back to the roadmap line. FNGU set to push out to 627. GS next upside 634, 670. Crazy numbers. That one will retrace eventually. May find resistance up here at 700. PTIR leveraged Palantir, PLTR. Yeah. Still got that 75 resistance up here. Target resistance. Nothing changed there. UDAO, Ultra DAO. Next fib line up. 116. Twilio. Probably gunning for that 618 up there. Right up in that zone. May find resistance where that gap was over here. May have a reaction if it gets into that gap zone. It's been rocking and rolling though. UPST. I see that break and go higher. Find a resistance at the top of the gap down. Hood. Nice. I don't have a good way to do targets off this. Right now, it's just an educated wild guess up here. Targets on Hood. All right, we're finding resistance right there at the 38 zone, which is the 272 of this first, like, choppy pop, retrace, and now pop. And that's how I had the targets before. And looking for more targets, I'm like, well, maybe that was the first move up, and that's the retrace. You do the high and the low here. That was close to a 50, which could be a measured bounce. It's very loose, so I give it less awesome probability, but 50, 70, 120, I'll take it. I mean, I've been long shares since over here. I think I got them at 38 cost basis, maybe. I rode that all the way down, selling calls, and now I'm sitting here ready to liquidate. I think I have 45 sold against my position right now. So if we pop up to 52, I'll get taken out. VRT, next upside, 154. Shopify. Let's just clean this chart up. So this was not the best move up off the low. Fair retrace though, right here. So very similar to what I was looking at on Hood. Didn't quite get down into the measured bounce zone. I mean, it kind of did if you are on non-log mode. Coming up to 115. You need to see that push on up to 157. Retrace and get the extension breakout. New all-time highs. That's the potential on Shopify. If we go back to Hood really quickly, on non-log mode, here you go. You can see that's why that move up and that retrace 618 potential 37, 44, 56, more reasonable target numbers. And that 44, that's why I sold the 45 right there. You know, how do you know log mode, not log mode? You don't. Like, there's no good way. You just have to chart it both ways. And it looks like this one and Shopify both look better on non-log mode at the current chart setup. It's just why you got people, humans, me, you, people that code bots, that trade all this stuff. Some of us like to use log mode. Some of us like to use not log mode. When we code our trading bots and our automated systems, we being the programmers, sometimes we use log mode in the calculations, sometimes we don't. And you never know which way the majority of the bots operating on a ticker are going unless you chart it both ways and kind of look at it. So this way, not really hitting numbers. This way it is. Gives you more conservative targets. Kind of like Hood over here. Log mode, not really hitting the target. Log mode, not really hitting the target. Not log mode. And now we're coming into resistance. So interesting, right? URTY, Ultra Russell. Now here's a interesting chart. Russell's up there near the all-time high, but this way underperforming for a leveraged product right here on Russell. Way, way, way underperforming. Cost of maintaining the leverage on Russell, a little bit high, and this may be indicative of bigger problems. I would not buy MSTY under any circumstances. That's basically the Bear Stearns, Enron, what they were all doing. Except now they've decided to use your money instead of their money. This is what they were doing when they talk about when they talk about the mortgage-backed securities and the leverage and all the things they were doing, they're doing that with stocks now and selling them as yield max, option income, MSTY, CONY. I can't remember the CONY, TSLY. A lot of them aren't doing so hot. I mean, look, Tesla's ripping, and that one's not. I would not touch MSTY. Yeah, $4 dividend, but it's been ripping, but be careful. You can easily get upside down and lose a bunch of money off that one. Very, very, very easily. I don't like these. You should read a lot about what they're doing, and if you agree with it, cool. If you don't agree with it, do not invest in it. And if your friend doesn't understand, and if you don't understand it, certainly don't. Like, if you don't understand what they're doing, certainly don't do it. They're essentially doing the same thing that blew up the whole banking crisis in 2008, except they're doing it with options and with your money instead of their money. I mean, that's the bottom line on all these yield max option income strategies. They're not just doing covered calls. It's not like these over here that are just doing covered call stuff. RYLD, XYLD. Not even going to pull up at the moment. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, these are doing covered call strategies. But those yield maxes are doing something totally different. And they actually pay the dividend out of the net asset value. So, yeah, Helen, where do I find the information? The prospectus. And if you read the prospectus and don't understand what they're doing, you shouldn't invest in any of them. Any ETF, you should go read the prospectus before you buy it. I've read a bunch of them, and I don't, for several of them, I only plan on staying a little while. Like MSTX, I'm not long-term hanging out. TSLL, I'm not long-term hanging out. All right, gunning for a short-term gain, and then I'm GTFO, getting the fudge out. So long-term, I'm not hanging out. I'm here for a little while, stay for a few days, few weeks, few months, maybe. Not here for the long term. Be very, very, very careful on long-term ETFs unless you understand what they're doing. All right. Been all over the place here. SRRK. Nice pop. That's just a big sideways since it came on the market in 2018. I'm not sure I would get involved in this right now. That's the lowest low. Potential to go higher, but ooh, golly, that looks rough. We need to pop up, hit the roadmap line, then on a breakout, potentially. Tesla. Let's target up here around 500. If we get up there, we may go into a longer term correction. DPST, 3x on banks. This is leveraged banks, and still haven't recovered from the drop last year. Still haven't recovered that on this leveraged instrument. This may, and check it out. That's a reverse split. That's a regular split. Reverse split. So two reverses and a regular. That means this is a declining asset, and it's costing them big money to maintain the leverage. It's going to decline over time. You see that on a lot of these leveraged assets over time. SMCI, 2x leveraged long. This one can get delisted any day now. Be freaking careful. Like SMCI, the underlying. What happens if you're in leveraged SMCI with that sucker and it gets delisted? Well, you're stuck. Stuck indefinitely until it comes back on the market. Be very, 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 very careful. Messing with that. Golly, the list is long today. Holy guacamole. We have to get moving. So be careful on SMCX app. That's at the target. Be careful. Probably expecting a pullback there. Coinbase just grinding. We actually tagged that 1272 there on Wednesday, grinding back down. It's very classic that we hit that target, retrace back to the breakouts, hold it, and then go for the next fib line up, which would be 427. GEV, if we break, well, and then the bearish case, if we break below that right there, we can come back to the roadmap line pretty easy back in this area. GE Veranova just keeps climbing and climbing. Eventually, this one's going to come back. Got one little blip of a roadmap line way down there. That shows you how much risk there is for a correction. Back down in that zone at this point. Snow. Nice pop. I kind of expect a retrace at this point. Looks like this was a correction up. I expected a lower low. We got it. Made the initial move off the lows. Need a retrace. And find support. So this is the only low we can work off of. We've got no real anything, so to speak. We're up past target. Kind of expect it to come back down. There's a large gap down resistance right there. There we go. What is the roadmap line? So link is in the description. You can get it for $5, or you can click on my channel home, channel name right underneath me here. Go to the main page. There, pinned to that is a video that gives you the code and everything free. It explains how it works and why it works. It's a support resistance line based on the 144, 169 EMAs, and it just works. Why does it work? Kind of Elliott wave theory and some Fibonacci stuff thrown together. Why not the 200, 200 moving average? Because this works better. Just works. And ask anybody in the chat. So they'll tell you. It's kind of creepy how it just works. Bath and Body Works, just chopping sideways. Nail. So there's a free version. And if you want an easy button, you just want to put it on your chart, $5. Links in the description. And you get like 3 months worth of stocks bouncing off the roadmap line, like potentially Nail here. Bouncing off. Potential to run higher. This is the pattern right here. This makes a high, busts up through the roadmap line, makes a high right in here, retraces, touches, or makes a low right here, move back up through the 618, high probability entry, and the target right up there, 189. 200 is the real target, 189 is the conservative target, and 232 above that. DKS. See, there's another nice example right there. Just remove this. Remove all these drawings. Look right here. This high, this low. Boom, right up into the target area. Right there. And then retrace again. Go again. If we can get that close above the 221, go up to 247, 254, maybe even 275 on the next run. So looking for a close up here and pop up here. NTRA. Watch out. That's just extension, extension, extension. Possibly rally up to 197 or 339. BBIO. Wow, that's a nasty chart. Biotech, pharma. I don't typically trade it. ANF rejecting the head and shoulders. Can we break out down above the downtrend of lows and get cruising 211, 224 on the upside there? TEM. Man, that's rough. Maybe heading up to 85 to 92. Doesn't really have, there's no roadmap line. There's no nothing to really work off of. A-Lab. One little blip of a roadmap line. Not really anything I can work off of. Why not this pullback? That's the lowest low on the chart. There's not much, not much you can tell here. We need a pullback, but where does it happen from? This was the lowest low. That was the corrective move off the IPO, and now I don't know. That's we need more chart. It's kind of like snow here. This whole thing from the IPO down to here was corrective action. Right to there. Now we can work on something bullish, but not there yet. CRWD still has that upside target at 441, 483, and then up here even higher on the log mode, somewhere around 600. See, we touched that 618. That's a measured bounce. It's another pattern I follow. Measure bounce and roadmap bounce. Measure bounce, I don't really have any public videos on that. I teach it in my fib class. Essentially, it's a 618 retrace that then gets continuation, and we go on out to typically a 1272, if not a 1618. So those levels be right up here, 1618, 1272. And the danger, if we stop at the 500, that'll probably turn down violently. So want to see it cruise on through that, get on up to that. There, it's a coin flip. Is it bullish or bearish? If it's bullish, usually we continue on up to here. If it's bearish, we'll turn back down. CVNA. Carvana, 430, 478. Looks like that's where we're heading. And LABU is just chopping around here. Nasty chart. That did hold the 618 right there, but we've just been sideways chopping for 2 years. Boyle. Nasty charts. Reverse splits. Dumpster fire. Don't touch it. BSTC could possibly be working on moving up. Now that close was below the 618. So be careful. This needs to close up here today. Got that resistance from the prior high. 144, 152 if we can push it on up. CRM cruising on up. Upside targets up here still. 400 to 450. Measured bounce. Yeah, that was the non-log mode measured bounce. So 400 to 450. DXYZ is probably coming back down eventually. I wouldn't touch it. Did it over here. Probably do it again. That's the bubble pattern. Not seeing the bubble pattern. Here it is. We go exponential. This is like MSTR right now. Then we pull back. We chop a little bit. Don't make a higher high. Break down and take it back. That could be MSTR right now. Although we could be over here. This is the crux of the issue, Are we doing this and we've got more to go? Or are we doing this and we're going to do a big correction? You never know exactly where in the path we are. You know they've gone crazy, but you don't know where exactly in the path we are. I call it the bubble pattern. It's just the psychology of a market cycle where you get optimism, belief, thrill, euphoria. Think about it. There's lots of that going on in NVIDIA, AI stuff. Eventually that's going to run its course and we'll get a correction. Eventually. The internet did that bubble and then it came back and actually did something for real, but took a long time. Here we are almost 25 years later after the .com bust. Xcure. Reverse split. I wouldn't touch it. It was never like $3,000 a share. It was never up there. That's just reverse splits. So dumpster fire, essentially. Can't get me involved in that right now. Nope. That's coming back down more than likely. Biotech. Dell in the zone to break out here. We can get above, get that close. I was expecting the rally up to that zone. If you jumped on it, good on you. Now we need to hold this area, prove it, and go cruising on up to 193, 205, possibly my bigger target up here around 230. But watch out, if we start turning back down, it can drop down here. CG, still expect that to come down and hit the roadmap line. EETH, wow, that one's having a rough go. Trying to break through. May see this come through, retest, and do that. So watch out for that. Maybe indicative of what Ethereum's about to do. Elf Beauty. Oh. Roadmap line. If we can get above that roadmap line, I might take a position to try to get some money back. Sucker. I feel like that sucker owes me some money. For those of you that weren't around, I took a position back here based on a setup. One of my roadmap setups. Very aggressive. I bought time. I ran out of time in December, or maybe it's November last year. And then we went to the target. Just didn't do it fast enough. I ran out of time. Pretty upset about that still. SPXL. 3x leverage going for 190. DDOG. Elf owes me a lot of money. And watch for the 163 upside right there. Resistance. FAS. Cruising on up. Maybe 192. I like this better for a leverage. You know, DPST, a lot of people like it. Lower priced, but this is a better, this has been a long-term better financial bullish 3x bull. You notice we don't have those reverse splits in here. We don't have that declining asset nature. It's actually climbing. We do get some big downside, but over the long term, this one does outperform. Its partner in crime here, FAZ, is plummeting into the abyss. This one is a declining asset. QMCO, nasty chart. I would not touch it. Nope, not for me. SMLR. They're picking up what MSTO MicroStrategy is doing. So, are they going to be 2x leverage Bitcoin? Or are we just going to mess around and come back down? Reddit. Keep climbing. We might top out up here. 162. I'd watch out for a retrace. We kind of needed it at this point. That's only 3 waves up, so that's not necessarily indicative of continuation at this point. Be careful. There's other ones that went sky high before they plummeted into the abyss. Sky high, and then IPOs typically will make a substantially lower low than the IPO price. 95% of the time. About only like 5% of them don't do that. So be careful. We did make a lower low, but I'm not sure it's the lower low yet. Not convinced. Usually it goes on for some longer period of time. IWM, like we talked about, kind of shooting up there, getting close to all-time high. Really close. Really, really close. ZS coming up into the resistance. 226, possibly 250. Then we may get another retrace. Royal Caribbean keeps grinding higher and higher. That's going to come back eventually. It's been since August since we did a big dip. It's known for its big dips, so watch out. VST, potential upside target up there, 189. but that's going to get a retrace also at some point here. Connell, leverage coin. Consolidating here before we get the pop up to 109. I think coin going up to that target on up there at 427 may take Connell up to its 108 target. 109 target right up in there. JPM keeps rocking and rolling. We're past all my targets. Watch for a retrace. Protect your profits. ETHT. Pro Ethereum Trust. Just grinding it out. Not bullish price action yet. Just like Ethereum's chart. FSLR. I still think we're getting a dip on down lower. PLTR. 75 upside target. UDAO. Get that upside target up there around 120. We did Twilio Upstart. Now we're back into some of these ones where I was a little bit ago. Shopify, URTY, Kling, and 4043. Zoom. We have this gap down we're probably going to go test. So gap downs tend to be a resistance point. Gap ups tend to not matter. But think about it. People are buying. Just knew Zoom was going to break out. Oh, gap down. They got stuck. Double down, triple down, quadruple down. I just want a GTFO, get my money back on this pop. We gap fill. And that usually leads to a pullback. Back to the roadmap line, maybe. Hold support that presents a buying opportunity here for the next move when we break out above that gap. Net. Watch for that to pop. Here's a big one. This is a big example of that gap down situation right here. So we rallied up into it, pulled back violently, came up in here, and then gapped up and haven't looked back. That's very classic what we do on a big gap down. Right there. Gap ups don't really, like, there's not that psychology. Like, people don't sell into a gap up and then they're like, well, I'm going to, buy back and I'm going to sell again. Like, there's not that psychology. People were buying into this gap down. They got stuck. They buy more. And when it comes back, they're ready to just get out. I just get my money back. And it creates this negative reaction right here. You come back up, and then you can bust through. So that would be kind of what I expect to happen over here. Maybe we already did the negative reaction. Maybe that was it, that first little whoop. But I kind of expect a bigger one. Best Buy. Did a retrace to the roadmap line. That high, that low. We can get above the 618 there. That was on the list this week for roadmap line. AMD, potentially still coming down. That's been on the way down for nearly the entire year. I wish it would just flush it out. And then we can build something positive out of here. Amazon. Looks like we hit the target. We did the roadmap bounce, hit the target. We're going to come back potentially down to the roadmap line before we can go to the next target up at 240. Shift 4 payments, potentially breaking out of the channel. I'm not convinced we're breaking out of the channel. Watch for a retrace there. SMCI, like I said, this could get delisted any day now. I would be highly cautious messing around with this one right now. Playing with fire. Playing with fire. SYM. Downtrend to highs. Watch for that resistance. If we can break above. Kind of did the watermelon seed squeeze breakdown. Got to the target down here. Reversing. If we can get above the downtrend of highs. Probably expect something like that. And then we can go higher from there. Need to hold the breakout. TNA. I'm looking for the same basic patterns over and over if you haven't noticed yet. TNA. Big move up. Bounce potential. If this is actually going to bounce, could see a large upside. 200 to 400 up there. Going to have to get through that consolidation right there to indicate we're going to go on up there. ARQQ, Arctic Quantum, reverse split, dangerous. How do I know they're reverse split? Stocks don't do a normal split at the bottom. All right, when they're down like this and they do a split, it's a reverse split, and then this is just bull crap, and it's probably coming back down. TGT, potential for this to be the bottom. Went really deep, but that was very, very proportional. First move down, second trace. See, we hit where the first move down. You just draw with an arrow. That move down, it's the same size as that move down. Oh, that high. We went a little faster. Time is not part of the equation of this. Size of the move. So that one and that one are equal size. So looking for this to turn back around. We do have that gap down to beat before we can go higher. But there is potential for this to turn and burn and go up much higher. Possibly in this 234, 273, 333 area up here on target. Rocket Labs just keeps being stupid. There is no real projection on this thing for me. Yeah, that was like the lowest low, and there's nothing to work with here. A-Lab, Emerald Marble, still grinding through, trying to maintain the positive move through the roadmap line into this resistance where we ground sideways for half the year. It's got a lot of stuff to prove that we're going higher now. This is a U.S. lithium play. So, joint owner of the Greensboro lithium mine. And they also operate in Australia. EQT. That one might break out, but that's a long time sideways. 2 years sideways, 2.5 years. Not my kind of play. TMF. Watch for that to push down to new lows. Kava. I expect that one to come back to the roadmap line after that big crazy move. DHI. Now this one, we did make this low after the IPO, so this could be working on, exploding higher, but it has no pullbacks basically off. We've got that one little pullback off that in that run right there. This one little pullback right there, up to the 2618. Could we push it on up to 3618, 4236, possibly even 686? Possible, but unlikely. More likely we get a retrace back to the roadmap line and reset everything. Set up a new move. DHI, back to the roadmap line. If we can turn here, that high, that low, break back above the gap down, and 208, 215 on the upside. LEU, and that looks like it wants to come back down to the roadmap line. Also, XHP, that one's already heading, already cruising. 128, 131, 137. TER, watch for that to continue on down. FETH, that's Ethereum. Potential to break out there. Oh, look, that's pretty nice for Ethereum, actually at the highs of the fund here. But it's going to follow the Ethereum chart. If Ethereum corrects, this is going to correct. All right, decliners, stuff that was down or $2 or more. Sava, ooh, ouch. Glad I didn't jump on that one. Went from 22 bucks to $3. Ouch. Classic, classic, classic. This one does crazy moves over and over and over. This is biotech. Must have got some bad news. 84%. Their Alzheimer's trial failed. Cool. That's why I don't trade biotechs, is because of that right there. You just never know. Like when we put all our eggs in this Alzheimer's basket, and guess what? We didn't cure Alzheimer's. Cold, just chopping around. Ultra short natural gas. Natural gas looks like it's going to pop up to 4 potentially. We hit the 360 area for the next target up. HCA plummeting into the abyss. How far, how low can she go? That one can come on down to this area right here. Find support. If it breaks down below that, we could go on down 200. BHVN. Turn down at a point where we may get a deeper retrace. Careful. Could come back down to the 20 area. TSM. Probably coming back to the roadmap line. ETHD. Ultra short Ethereum. Sounds like a bad play. Probably going to 0. ALAR. Bouncing off the roadmap line. That tends to be bearish. Watch for an extension lower. Back down around $4. BitX. Turn it down a little bit. This one might push on out. Might. If Bitcoin goes ripping, this is ripping. If Bitcoin starts correcting, this is correcting. Could come back to the roadmap line. Hard to read into. Leverage stuff doesn't always follow the pattern, so be careful. Came up shy of the target, and I still will maintain a $100 order to sell my BitX. UGLY, ugly. Maybe that was the first move down, and we're getting a third move down. First move, second move higher. Third move could take us down here on ugly. Watch for that. And bonus trade for today, SPGI. It's an interesting one right here. This high, this low. Kicked off the entry right there. See the buy. 540, 548. And see right here, we have a actual target 541.40. Stop low 476. That's a $26 upside. 45 trades since 1968. Skags, man. This is your kind of bag right here. This kind of stuff. We got almost a 3 on the profit factor and almost 90%. 88.89%. Nice upside potential. 32 trading days on average. Well, this is kind of flat though, and this may take longer to get up there. We have an uptrend going. Really nice. There you go. If I were going to play that, I would go for at least 5 months. Probably. These setups typically last 3 to 5 months. Although historically 32 days, which would put this out to roughly mid-January if it was just average. Now, commonly they last 2 times the average. Very, very commonly, which would put it out to about 64 days, 64 candles, which is 97 days. So you'd have to be out in March at least to not run out of time. Now, for those of you that are like, wait, 32 days, how does 32 days and 2 times that become 64 days and all of a sudden it's 97 days? Candles don't get made on the weekend. So when the market's closed, there's no candle. That's why these statistics over here are based on actual trading days, open market days, not on calendar days. So, fine point, but be careful. And as far as, there you go, man. Good luck. Good luck. And bias for the day. I thought you might like that one, Skags. Like that one. That one's right up your alley. Like that's the juicy stuff I like to see right there. And Bias for the day. All right. Where are we going? What do I expect? Looks like we're going to break out new highs. Maybe get NQ up here to the target. S&P definitely looks set for new highs. If we fail it now, it'll be a bummer. That downside potential turning down here takes us back down to 5,800. The upside potential here. Let's just do it. Do it off of the big pullback back here. Turn off Apollo. Turn off that. This correction back here off the roadmap line. So we still have this 60.33. And then the next one up here, 64.50 basically. All right, everybody. Be careful out there. The account you save may be your own. I'll be in Discord. I'll be working on the AI and various other things. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I'll be, like I said, I'll be here today, tomorrow, Wednesday, and Friday. And be safe out there. I'll do 30 minutes of awesome as always tomorrow. Be careful. Have a good day.